Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sully Squad. Happy Monday, although I don't know how happy it could be for some Eagles fans, because I know there's a lot of Eagles fans out there that are quite upset about losing CJ Gardner-Johnson. So we're gonna get into a lot tonight. We got a red hot basketball team. Philadelphia 76ers took over the second seed. We got a hockey team that actually won a game, and we got Trey Turner hitting all kinds of bombs in the World Baseball Classic. So. We're going to get right in. Oh, and we got a special guest from 97.5, Haley Simon. She's going to hop on in just a second here. So we're going to get right into it here. I got my usual cast. I got my man Sean Kilrain to my left.
What's up, guys?
How you doing? I got below me, I got Mr. 6 for 6, Diego Bianchi, the Hammer. What's up, dog?
Yeah, what's good, everybody? How you doing?
Chilling.
Pretty good. Right to his side here, I got my man Euro Paul. What's up, Paul? How you doing, bro?
Good, man. What's going on?
What's up?
And right above him, Mike Fuji in the old school Phillies jersey, man. Yo, that's hot, dude. I like that.
Thank you. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Well,
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
good.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know what I mean? I'm a little disappointed because I thought we were going to keep Gardner Johnson, but it is what it is, and hopefully Howie could work his magic here. So anyway, without further ado, we got our special guest here. We got Haley Simon coming on. So hang on a second here.
Hey guys.
Hey Haley, how you doing?
Hey, Haley, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, so we I just wondering what your perspective is on it looked like the Eagles brought back Darius Slay, they brought back Bradbury. Obviously we've lost a lot of guys, but what's your take on having to replace two safeties? What do you think about losing CJ?
Yeah, so losing CJ is more on him than anything else. I don't doubt that Howie could have matched that. He definitely could have. When you're $8 million, that's not a lot. What I take on it is that CJ just didn't want to be here long term. So instead of just taking a short term deal for the Eagles, he decided to test the market. Didn't work out, and now he's stuck with the Lions. Needing two safeties, it is what it is. I hate saying that, but that's the reality. We do have the draft coming up, so they could always draft a safety. We do have that first round pick still. So that could happen. We could also have another there's still plenty of time this offseason to go acquire somebody else. Jalen Mills, somebody that I'm a big fan of, is on the market again. He got released from the Patriots. So time will tell, but I trust Howie, and they would have tried harder to keep CJ if he was somebody that they were really depending on. But sometimes when, I guess you can say, moves don't get made, it's more apparent that Howie has his eyes on somebody else.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right, and from some of the reports, I mean it does make you wonder how bad they really did want to keep him, and I'm kind of with you. I mean, I was thinking Jalen Mills might be an option, or possibly like guy Adrian Amos. I mean, I know he used to be safety in Chicago under Sean Desai, so that could be an option.
Yeah, plenty of options, and there's still a lot of time. And I think one thing that Eagles fans need to remember that it is still March, and there's plenty of time for, roster moves to happen before the season begins. So until the draft happens, I would not panic yet.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say, thanks for coming on.
Always.
It's just, it blows your mind because this guy, CJ, was a guy that had 6 interceptions and 12 games, and the thing of it is, it's just the talent, like a Swiss Army knife in that secondary, just to lose a guy like that. I mean, to me, the contract really didn't make sense, and I really didn't. I heard it was backloaded instead of front loaded, and I mean, this is my thing. Somebody put something out earlier on Twitter about the whole thing. To me, it's just like the Eagles just. Once you shun them on a contract, forget it. I mean, that goes back to when the Eagles had Michael Lewis. I mean, Joe Banner offered him a contract. He turned it down and went to San Fran in 2005. So the Eagles don't play hardball with anybody, bottom line.
Right. No, and that's a fair point. They don't. I mean, once you say no the first time and you test the market, very difficult to come back again.
I got a question for you. What do you think about CJ just posting and deleting all week? How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's so annoying. I'm somebody who tweets all of the time, and I'll keep my tweets up even if they're stupid. When you have a platform in that level and you know people will be looking at you, it is to create drama. With him deleting his Eagles photos and then reposting it again, he is asking for the attention. So to me, it screams childish. And I hate to say that, but there's no need to be tweeting about your feelings when it comes to free agency, as you're in a midst of deals. That's unnecessary.
Don't be afraid to leave your receipts out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you make a statement, stand by it. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I don't like that stuff either. It's like today's world. Like a lot of these like certain athletes are like drama queens. It's like all these guys like Kevin, like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is like the poster boy for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Got a comment. Oh, never mind. Hang on a second here. Sorry, I missed that one. But yeah, it's I was gonna say, did you have a question about something?
Yeah, would you rather go free agency or draft wise with safety?
I would go draft wise. I would rather have a guy that's young and have the Eagles develop him and have him stay long term. The problem is, and when you look at the safeties on the market right now, there's not too many of them that scream out to me long term. And I think the problem with this Eagles team is that we're going to be losing eventually next season a lot of long term players. Like we're going to be losing Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, a bunch of guys. Yeah. So I think for the Eagles' sake, it's better to have somebody younger that they can develop and keep rather than lose somebody after a season.
Do you think we kept enough guys to make a Super Bowl run come this following year?
As long as we have two guys, and that is Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, then the answer is yes. Obviously, defense is an important factor, and we lost a lot of defensive players. But we do have a huge draft, a huge defensive-based draft coming up. So I'm not concerned on that aspect. Super Bowl run again, difficult. We have a hard schedule. We lost a lot of vital players. Hargrave was a huge player that we lost. But it's possible with Hurts and Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the NFL is more, if you got the best quarterback on the field, you're going to win. So
easily. Like Patrick Mahomes makes everybody look good. And
right.
He doesn't always play with the best talent, but because he's Patrick Mahomes, everyone else looks good around him.
Yeah, I hear you. So I see you've been covering the Flyers for the last couple years.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Danny Briere? You think after this season you take the interim tag off and let him be the guy and run the draft and stuff like that?
Good question. I think that they will take the title off, and I think he's going to be somebody that stays here in Philly. He's been kind of shown the ropes of, what to do for the past couple seasons here in Philadelphia. As far as the draft goes, I 100% believe that he will be running the draft, no doubt in my mind. They trust him a lot, and Dave Scott really likes Danny. Danny has a different kind of passion for Philadelphia than a lot of other GMs do for their cities. He's been somebody that obviously played on the Flyers. He has family that's raised here in Philly. So he has more of a personal connection, and he knows hockey. He's a hockey guy. And I'm not saying that Chuck Fletcher didn't know hockey, but Danny knows what it needs to take to have a successful team. And that's something that Fletcher just couldn't get through for some reason.
We can say it on this show. Chuck Fletcher didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Haley, as far as if you're in Danny Briere's shoes, where do you begin with this Flyers team?
Oh God, clean house. There's an exception. Like there's certain players and the younger ones, like a Tyson Forster who just got brought up about 5 games ago. Keep the younger guys that you're developing, a Morgan Frost even. And as much as I do like some of these older guys on the team, like a Travis Konechny and Ivan Provorov, a Scott Lawton even, they have value. So what I would do is I would get as many younger guys as possible and develop them. That way your team in maybe 2 or 3 seasons could actually have value rather than bringing on these. And I hate to say this, but 30 is old in hockey. So when you're bringing on guys that are in their 30s, you're obviously not going to have the physicality or the ability that these younger guys have that come up about like 18 and 19 years old. So they need young guys.
So Carter Hart, is Carter Hart the cornerstone and you build around Carter Hart, or is
No.
Carter Hart, you offload him?
So if you asked me that a season ago, I would say build around Carter Hart. Now I'm saying no. We have such great backup goalies in a Samuel Arison and Felix Sandstrom that the goalie issue there's no issue with the goalies on the team. So what you would do is Hart has value, utilize that value and get somebody. We need offense. We need to have solid defense even. Justin Braun, who's one of our defenders, he was playing wing the other game. And most people be like, why are you having a defender play, a wing position? Like, that doesn't make sense. And Tortorella said because he's better than the guys that are on the team for that position. And that's an issue. So I would focus less on, pucks will go in the net no matter what with this Flyers team. The goalie issue, there's not right now. You need to develop guys that will actually get pucks in the opposing team's net.
So before the season with Tortorella, I thought he was more of a coach for a team ready to win. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was the right decision to bring him in, considering the way he coaches and we're going to win games and we're trying to tank? Do you think that was a good decision?
Yes, 100%. Tortorella, while he is a win now kind of coach, he is the kind of coach that is made for Philly. And fans would be, and I know fans want to tank, and I get that. I understand why. But in a non-biased point, fans would be more upset if you had a coach that didn't put any effort into the team. And what Tortorella is doing, he is developing the younger guys. His focus is on the younger guys. It's not on the older guys. He's focused on the development. So, yes and no. Obviously, losing as many games as possible to get, Connor Bedard is ideal. But at the same time, he has been developing really well these younger players that are going to be the future of the team.
How long do you think it's going to take for this rebuild, retool, for them to be relevant again, you think? Next year, or you think a couple years out? Do you think they actually be really competitive, or how long do you think?
I think we're going to talk playoff-wise, because to me that's when it kind of comes into play with competitivism. I would say 2 to 3 years, realistically. Mm-hmm. In terms of fan engagement, that's their decision. At the game on Friday against the Canes, people were like, it's Patty's Day, no one's going to show up. The fans are there when the team does well. They had a hat trick that night with Owen Tippett, and the place was rocking. So fans will be there. There's many fans on social media will say that they don't care about the Flyers and they have no support. That's not true. And there are people that are going to still show up. So as long as the team, is going in the right direction and getting those younger players and developing them, fans will show up.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Owen Tippett because, I will freely admit I'm one of those fans that wants to break out the Sherman tank. I mean, because I want to get, I want as many chances to get Connor Bedard as possible. But I will say, I am encouraged by guys like Owen Tippett. Like that's, you look at that Claude Giroux trade. And, I remember at the time, a lot of people, there was a little criticism. I remember people saying that, they didn't really like the return. But this kid's starting to really show something. And I think he's not going to say a building block necessarily going forward, but at least he's somebody that, maybe you can kind of count on as being a possible top 6 or 9 forward going, in the future.
Yeah, he's actually second in team in goals with 21. So, yeah, I think that return we got from him is starting to work out for Giroux.
And he's so young still, and he's a coachable guy. And the thing about Owen Tippett, and Tortorella said this the other day, he's getting his swagger, which means that he's gaining his confidence because he is very shy. And he's putting in the work. All that kid does is work on his game, and he's focused. And that's the kind of guys that the Flyers need. So if you had a whole team of Owen Tippetts, the team would be very successful. But as you can tell, throughout the season, he's been doing much better, and that is because he's been getting that confidence.
I got a comment here from our man Pat Bernard. He said the same thing. Hey, get rid of the old talent, trade Carter Hart, build a young core around Sam Arison and Travis Konecny. Danny Briere knows how to bring in young talent. He brought in Nick Suzuki for Montreal.
Oh man, Suzuki. Yep. that was great for the Canadians. Oh wow, yep.
Yeah, well, let's. I mean, like I said, I'm encouraged by by some of these young guys. I'm just hoping that they could find a way to kind of be in the top 5, because this is such a key, such a big draft coming up. I mean, I think I read, maybe you could correct me, that there's about 5 blue chip prospects coming out, and then after that there's kind of a drop off. Does that sound
I heard
correct?
that too. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, this is the biggest, most important draft class coming up. This is where the talent is.
Nice.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, so let's win, but not too, let's win and develop, but not too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's chill on it.
Only like 14 games left, and their schedule is very tough. They have the Panthers coming to town tomorrow, who are competing for a playoff spot. But the thing with the Flyers is that they don't need to get that first pick. As long as they get the top 3, so even second or third, they're going to have a guy with a lot of talent. And I can't tell you who those guys would be, because right now it's Bedard is one, and everything else is still fluid.
Mm-hmm.
But when it gets closer to the draft, I think we're going to see that no matter who they get, will make a significant improvement on the team.
Gotcha. And real quick, just to pivot on a team that's playing great right now. Should Joel Embiid be the MVP?
Yes, 100%. When you have 9 consecutive games getting 30+ points, and you're balling the way that he does, and he is the reason why these Sixers are so successful, 100% he should. Well, okay, there is an argument though for Jokic, but I do believe that this is Embiid's year, and he's been proving it. He's in his prime. He's not the best rebounder, right? He's not the best passer. But when it comes to who the most important player is on the 76ers, it's Joel Embiid. You take that, you look at how the team does when he's not when he's not playing, not good. So that's what the MVP is, and this is what I talked about even with the NFL and Jalen Hurts. People would argue with me and say, "Oh, well, he's not that important," but then the team was not successful when he wasn't playing. So you have to take that into consideration. Stats are one thing. Dominating a team's ability into their success is a completely other thing.
Yeah, I'm an eye test guy myself. I mean, to me, you could sit there and run all this VORP and all this other stuff, but I watched Embiid. Jokic is a great player, but I watched Embiid drop 40+ on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which
And wouldn't it be ironic too? Like Philadelphia sports has had like so many close calls this year. Phillies making the World Series, obviously Eagles in the Super Bowl, and the one team that we've been waiting for all this time, where like I want to say a lot of the cities like, it's going to be a second round exit again. Wouldn't it be ironic if they were the ones to break through this year? You know what I mean?
Oh wow, that would take a miracle to happen. The NBA this year is tough, and there's only one team that concerns me. It's not the Bucks, it's the Celtics. They are so unsuccessful when it comes to Boston, but in a 7-game series, it's definitely possible to beat the Celtics. But that's the only thing that's stopping me from saying, yeah, they're going to go all the way. Maybe this is their year. I mean, this is the prime time of the Sixers. It'd be nice if they had Jimmy Butler still, but
no deal.
It's brutal. That they should have won that year. So,
well, it would be the year, because I feel like this is the first year out of the last 3 or 4 years where we didn't feel like it was time to go to the championship. I felt like this team took a step back going into the year, and now they're playing so amazing going down the stretch. They're just pulling us in little by little to let us down in the second round again. I just hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really ironic, but who knows what can happen. I am so optimistic when it comes to the Sixers, and they could surprise me. They're definitely getting hot at the right time, but the playoffs are a whole different story, and I can't confidently say I feel good about this.
Well, tonight they're honoring the 1983 team down at the Bulls game, so maybe Lady Luck will be in our corner this year.
Maybe.
You never know. Phil's Eagles, who knows? As you said, they're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah. Well, listen, Haley, I just got one more quick little question for you here. Edge of Philly Sports has a question here. They want to know how exciting is Trey Turner in the WBC?
It's awesome. This man is a Philadelphia Philly. And if this doesn't get you excited about Phillies baseball starting this month, then I don't know what will. The Phillies I love the jerseys. The Phillies are so loaded. And people say, Harper's out, they're not going to do well. No, we have Trey Turner, the best shortstop in baseball, who is an absolute monster when he hits that ball. So there's going to be a lot of home runs this season, and I'm expecting big things for the Phillies, but this is getting me excited, and it should get every single Philadelphia Phillies fan pumped up.
Big time.
Citizens Bank Park is going back to the days of 07 through 2011, where that was the place to be. You know, everybody was down there tailgating. You know, it was a place to go on dates, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? And we're going back to that right now.
I live about a mile away from all of the arena complex area. And during the World Series and that whole run, I could hear people cheering from where I live. And I'm expecting that all summer. I want people to be so obnoxious and loud to where I can hear them in the middle of July. That is the goal. So this is the most excited I've been for a baseball season to begin.
They said you could hear it at Tasker Street. That's how loud it was last year, man.
Yeah.
We're going like 30 miles, man.
It was. I went to the clinching game of the NLCS, and it was one of the best experiences that I had with my life. And my Apple Watch went off because it was saying how it was too loud. And and I was like, awesome, that's the goal. So that's the goal for a regular season.
Hey,
fire up the bank.
Sports is supposed to be fun, and that's how it is. So hey, let's hope you're right. I think you are.
Hopefully,
and,
I want a championship in Philly. I've been cut short of 2 different, actually with the Union, 3 different parades in the city.
Don't worry, you'll get it.
Well, it's a great time to be a sports fan in Philly, though. Every team is competitive and going some places. So
it's fun. I'm not complaining. We're not losing.
Right.
We've done plenty of that over the years.
Right.
Oh, a lot.
Too much.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, listen, Haley, I really appreciate you hopping on, and thanks for the time. And why don't you tell the people where they can check you out?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This was fun. You can find me on my Twitter at Haley T. Simon, and on my Twitter I have the links for all my stuff. So make it nice and simple and easy.
Okay, great. Well, listen, thanks a lot, and hey, go Phillies, go Sixers, and let's get this champion. Let's get at least one championship in here.
One championship. When they win, I'll gladly come back on and we can talk about the celebration that we're going to be having. So.
Cool. Sounds good.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
See you later.
Have a good one. Yeah, that was fun. Hey, hopefully she's right, because it would definitely be nice to have the recall. Yeah, exactly.
Mojo, man, we need that.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, sorry, I got a little thrown here. I got a little thrown off here because my man Christopher Peasy said, what's his face? CJ Gardner-Johnson was being like a female, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to say that. You know?
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible timing, Joe.
Well, you know why?
You're like, hold on. You're like, hold on. We got a comment here.
I know, but,
and that's the one you
Hey,
picked.
what do you feel about this comment?
That's the one.
Well, you know what?
No way.
It was such an accident because it was
the first feed.
Well, no, you know what it was? It was in small print, so I couldn't really see it, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm not gonna say that here, we got Haley on, you know what I mean?
The thing is,
the way he came out last week,
Now she was great though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she was awesome.
But back to what you were saying about CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's just ridiculous.
I know everyone wants to get someone in the draft, but you still need a veteran. You can't.
Oh yeah,
you compete for Super Bowl.
Do you need a veteran though? Do you need a veteran?
Yes.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. At 10, you drink the best safety in the league. You don't need no vet behind them. Oh, go make this play. These kids come in from these big schools ready to play. So sick of here. We need a vet behind them. We need vets on the team, but we don't need. If we're going to draft a high safety, you don't need to bring in a vet. If you want to bring somebody else in, that's fine. But I think that veteran thing goes a little bit further than we think.
I disagree. You definitely need a vet, especially if you're on a Super Bowl.
I do.
One team. No.
I don't know.
It's too much pressure for a rookie to do all that.
So what? So you bring a vet in, right? This dude's better than Jalen Mills, for example. Then what's the vet do? Just ride the bench?
We'll sign him for a 1-year deal, and then if the rookie plays well, then you go the other way. But you still need.
I don't know. If you're gonna draft the safety high, you draft the safety in the first round with attention. That guy's gonna play from the first day.
We're not drafting a safety.
Yeah,
From
but
the
the
first
thing-
day, your first round pick in football your first round pick in the NFL should play from the first snap of the season in the first year.
It's forward in material.
Yeah,
It
but
ain't
the
material,
the
it
head-
ain't project. It's story.
So are we bringing in a vet to play third safety? Because we're going to draft a guy and then the vets, whatever. Just bring in some vets.
Eagles sign safety Justin Evans, it says.
All right, who's Justin Evans?
Exactly. That's who I like to know.
To me, in my opinion, that's adding depth to draft a safety. Because that guy's going to start off the bat.
That's what I meant. You can't just rely on rookie alone. No,
Just like we said in our group chat last night, you can draft a safety in the third round, and that guy is Branch, which me and you brought up, Diego. He's from Bama. He's NFL ready, obviously. So draft him if he's there.
Justin Evans is another Saints safety that we took now.
Okay.
For the Bucks.
Yeah, second round pick in 2017.
I hope that's not the guy we signed thinking he's going to replace CJ because he played for the same team CJ used to play for.
Well, no, it says agree to terms.
Wait, you ready to be excited?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Elliott Shore Parks. New Eagles safety Justin Evans, 27 years old, 6 feet, 199. As you said, second round pick of 27. Played 92% of the snaps in 2018. He missed 3 seasons, 2019, 20, and 21 with an Achilles injury. He played 39% of snaps for the Saints last season, played in slot free safety last year. So
okay.
Well, this is like the restored penny deal, which I don't understand. Which to me is a joke.
Tendons and ankles. Yes.
Well, it's like
you don't like the
penny. You get them for like $1.3 million.
It's just 1 year deal, probably with incentive latent, basically.
Yeah, but I don't think Justin Evans ain't here to make a difference. I feel like Rashad Penny was brought here to make a difference for $1 million.
Yeah, but the guy's been injury prone 11 games in the last 2 to 3 years.
I agree with that, and I'm glad. At least I feel like if he does get hurt, Gainwell can still do the job. But Rashad Penny's pretty effective when healthy.
Oh no, damn!
So he can stay healthy.
His rookie year, he had 70 tackles, 3 picks.
I mean, I feel like we're
Penny seems like Joey always said, change of scenery, fresh air. You know, he seems like, I'm ready to get to work. Let's get this done. You know, I want to get on the field and show people that I'm not that injury prone back. And
I mean,
I like the signing. I think he was a stud for that period of time last year.
Oh, absolutely.
The year before.
I mean, when he's healthy, when he's healthy over the last 2 seasons, he's got the highest yards per carry in the season, 6.1, and that's not running behind the best offensive line in the league.
No, it's just him doing this thing. You're right, and he's like a bowling pin, man. He's going to be hard to take down.
I still think you need another back. I mean, even though you got Gainwell and Scott. Your boy Trey Sermon, Sean.
Yeah, Trey Sermon there, but
Trey Sermon. I know you
I
were
think
big
the backs
on him
are
last
gonna.
year.
The backs we see this year are Rashad Penny, Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Trey Sermon, just in case something happens. You know what I mean? That's the point.
They never activated Trey Sermon.
There's a reason, though. Everyone keeps calling about Trey Sermon, but he doesn't get activated, and he didn't play for the San Francisco 49ers. Why?
Yeah.
There has to be a reason. Acclimated with the playbook, or is he just?
Or he's just not NFL caliber player.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just so anyway, this guy, the safety they signed, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to get too excited on this about this, but you know what though? It's kind of like a low risk, high reward. I mean, they're probably not paying him dick, and it says here he played free safety and the slot last year. And
that's big.
Elliott Shore Park's basically saying taking a chance on a player who was ascending before a serious injury.
Well,
so why not? You know, basically you're throwing a dart against the board. Like, you don't depend on a guy like this. In fact, I still would draft a guy.
No,
but maybe this kid comes in the camp and he actually shows something. I don't think it's a bad idea.
It's not. But you had Reed Blankenship, who's at his natural position.
People are getting too excited about him.
I'm not getting.
I agree. But I think he's serviceable.
Right. He's smart. See what he could bring at safety.
I got you.
It's an experiment, and if the experiment doesn't work, just like next man up. You know?
Right now, your starting safeties are Reed Blankenship and Kayvon Wallace.
Yeah.
Kayvon Wallace.
That's not good. That's not good at all. That's not. That's one of the worst in the league. That's bad.
Well, Kayvon Wallace even make this team. I mean, they drafted him in 20. He's been disappointed.
I was excited when they drafted Kayvon Wallace because I watched him play at Clemson, and I was like, "Yo, this kid can play." And then every time he sees the field, he looks lost.
All right.
Yeah. Or he's getting pushed down. You're right. I mean,
Chris Rapizzi with an interesting comment here about linebacker. He says, what do you think of Bobby Wagner, 1-year deal to help our linebacker? Or would he want too much money? I
bring him in.
I would too.
If you sign for the veteran minimum, maybe.
For the right price, definitely bring him in.
For what we have money-wise, exactly, Diego.
Let him teach Nakobe Dean how to be a beast. That's one guy to learn from.
What do you think our next move is for that second linebacker position? Like, what do we got? Nakobe Dean and who else? And then we got Reed Blankenship and who else? It sounds like the middle of that field is going to be suspect as hell.
Well, just like we touched base last night in the chat, it's defense. With that 10th pick, who do you draft? Like the most important part.
Howie's not.
Howie's not drafted linebacker.
I think he's going D-line, honestly.
D-line
or safety, you got to go. D-line or the best safety.
You get that kid. If Jalen Carter, how me and Joey been saying, if Jalen Carter's there, Nolan Smith, draft him.
I think he's taking Nolan Smith, defensive end. You know how we always loves the defense, but you got to go defense heavy in this draft.
100%. Maybe every single pick on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree.
The defensive interior guy, nose tackle, Cansey from Pitt. Grab him if he's available with the 30th pick. Or do we trade that pick and get more picks this year since we only have 6? Or you just say, roll the dice, let's go with these 6 picks and see what the hell we can
I think
get.
he's going to do that with the 30th pick. Just trade back and get multiple picks.
I think we could see a possibility of him doing that twice. Moving back from the 10. If there's like a safety that's projected to go 15, for example, and he wants a safety, move back to 15, you take that safety, you move back at 30, acquire more picks, and then you can maybe get 3 guys who can start for you this year.
If Battle's there, I'm happy because that kid's game ready. Like we said, Bama.
Wait, Battle or Branch?
Battle and Branch are both Bama.
Okay, you're right.
So both of them are starting.
But Branch is supposed to go higher, though.
Yeah, and Battle's supposed to go top 10. But whatever. Take the best available. Get, like you said, Diego, draft needs.
There's a kid from Penn State that gets a decent write-up. I think he's supposed to be a third-round pick.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I think that's one of the reasons why the safety market is kind of dried up a little bit, because there's a lot of safeties coming out in this draft. I know there's at least, like you said, Branch, Battle. You got the kid Texas A&M. They have at least 6 or 7 safeties. We'll just put it that way. That have like pretty high grades. So if you're out there, if you're a team that needs a safety, you're thinking to yourself, why am I going to overpay for a veteran who's I could bring in a young guy and have him a rookie contract for 4 years? You know
exactly.
And plus, Sean, like you were saying, a guy like Jeremy Chin is out there possibly in a trade, and then you also have the kid. You also have the guy Kevin Byard from Tennessee.
He's unhappy.
He's unhappy with his deal. He's from Philly. The only strike against him, though, is I think if he's unhappy with his money in Tennessee, well, how the heck are we going to afford him? Because we don't really have any money. So I don't. Yeah, I was seeing people link his name in reports, but I don't really see that happening because we don't. Where are we getting the money from?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just like Diego said, we're strapped.
But you know what though? We got a lot. We still got a long off season. The off season's going to go. Let's we got a red hot basketball team here. So let's get into some Sixers here. But before we do, let me just give a shout out to our. Let me give a shout out to our sponsors here. All right, anybody out there with some legal issues? We got workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law. Call our man David R. Cherry Esquire at 610-565-0300 or www.cherryinjurylaw.com. So anybody with legal problems, make sure you give him a call. He'll hook you up. anybody that needs to get tickets for sporting event or concert or theater. Sherry'sTickets.com, www.Sherry'sTickets.com. They're family owned and operated since 1946. Local small business. You could save 10% off with the promo code EOP10. So make sure you, any ticket needs, make sure you hook them up. Philly Sports Trips, www.phillysportstrips.com for any needs, any good sporting trips. You want to go travel somewhere. They got an ultimate bus trip coming up to Yankee Stadium, April 3rd. That's only a few short weeks away. So, check that out. They got a baseball trip to Denver in May. They got Philly Union trips, all kinds of stuff going on. So make sure you check them out. Right here, we got the Edge of Philly Sports lineup. Here's all the shows right here. So there's something here for everybody. So make sure you check that out. And right here, we got, now this just happened. Hopefully a lot of people made it out there. I'm sure they did. But in general, Dolan's Bar has a lot of cool stuff going on. They got live bands, food vendors, drink specials. So make sure you check out Dolan's Bar. They are down at 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park, PA. So if you happen to be in that area, check them out and check out the scenery and have a good time. So, all right, fellas. Philadelphia 76ers, they've taken over the second seed. How many have we won in a row? About 8?
8.
Yeah, it's 8. I'm sorry.
8 in a row, correct?
Yeah, 8.
All right, so we're red hot. Joel Embiid is scoring 30 points a night, like in his sleep, dominating. And they're dominating on the road. The thing that really impressed me about the Sixers is they're doing what a really championship level basketball team can do, and that's beating people no matter where you play them, and no matter the circumstances too. I mean, look at this past weekend. We went down to Charlotte, boat raced them. Then the very next night, Harden and Tucker don't even play. It was a perfect opportunity for a quote unquote Doc Rivers scheduled loss.
True.
Not for the Sixers. They went out there businesslike.
Yeah. Took care of business, and now we're the second seed. So, guys, what's how Fuji? I'll start with you, man. I mean, how far can this team go, bro? I mean, are we looking at a possible trip down Broad Street this year?
Hey, you never know. I mean, as we talked to, this team's getting hot at the right time. We had Sean Bernard on last week with the, just the cohesiveness is there. The camaraderie, everybody's chipping in. Embiid's putting this team on his back. I mean, the last 3 games, he's averaging 35 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 3 block shots in the last 3 games. So I think, JoJo's on a mission. So, and he's probably playing at the best of his career right now. So if this man doesn't get MVP this year, it's a flat out joke.
Paul, what do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I have to go along with what Haley said, right? Because the only team that really worries me this year, if we do take him out, it probably will go to a Game 7. But they're really playing great, and they're really like I said, gelling together right now. It's just the Celtics just scares me getting out and moving on. So.
You're so deep.
What do you think, Diego? What's your impression?
I think just like you said, Jay. They got a different swag. Like every other year, I felt like coming to this point, this team didn't know who it was. It didn't know exactly how to run an offense, in my opinion. And I feel like this year they finally just figured it out. You know what I mean? Like they know what they want to do night in and night out. And when you know what you want to do night in and night out and it can't be stopped, that's when you get that business mentality where you just take care of everybody anywhere, no matter what time, no matter where. So I feel like that's what kind of Sixers team we have now. So the sky's the limit for this team, I think. And this is coming from a guy who was really out on them early in, like the way they were playing lazy, a little sloppy. But since the All-Star break, in my opinion, they have been the best team in the NBA with the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And James Harden is playing like the best point guard in the NBA, like a real true point guard.
Like you wouldn't believe, man. Assist. Yeah.
And I think everyone's just starting to come on at the right time. Maxey's starting to come on. Like, even when you go to like McDaniels knows what to do when he comes in the game. He just knows his role. The only guy I'm a little worried about is Tobias Harris because he's still trying to find his spot. But if he figures it out, dude, I don't know. This 6 team can win the championship. No other team in the league is a juggernaut. There's no team you look at and go, they're going to win. They're winning the championship, like the LeBron years and the San Antonio years when they all had that team that you knew wasn't going to get beat. This year, anybody can win this championship out of the top 6 teams out of 3 teams of each conference.
Yeah. How about your boy Sully right here? I wrote that article before the year. I said we were winning this, John, and I also, Diego.
You also said Daniel House playing a huge part.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, though.
I actually see his face. I actually see his face now.
No, dude. I was laughing because Pat and Mike's show yesterday. I commented because Daniel House he straight had a vicious ass dunk. I'm like, there we go, Daniel House, baby. I was like, I told y'all.
I swear, if they win the championship and you write another article about how you were right, that has to be included as like the key play of the year. Daniel Jones posterizes player. Season changes for the best. You know what I mean? After that,
I know. No, I only bring it up. It's like an inside joke between me and Diego because like we went to the Sixers game like a few months ago and Daniel House didn't play. And we were like cracking up. He's like, there's your man. If Daniel House came in like the fourth quarter, they're up by like 20. And he's like,
he just got a minute.
I was like, there's your man making that big difference. I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, I look real dumb for saying he's going to make a difference. But
did you see that crazy stat? The Sixers are 15-4 when Tucker does not make a shot.
Yeah, and he's a plus 64.
Yeah.
He's doing what they need him to do. Here's our man Dave Yarnell. I'm going to get to his question, and then he just says, "Hey guys, Bulls are in town tonight. Thoughts on tonight's game? We'll get to that in a second." Oh, and here's Pat here too. What's your guys' game plan for tonight's game from an X and O standpoint?
I don't feel bad. I don't feel like basketball. Basketball is more like they run the 2-man game with James Harden. They find the open guys for threes, and that's how they win. That's a very simple formula the Sixers do on offense.
Just keep on playing aggressive. Don't change the game. Just keep playing the way you're playing.
They've been playing the same exact way all year.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, we're a much better team than the Bulls. Yeah. And we're a much better team than the Bulls. And I feel like no one can mess with the 2-man game of Joel Embiid and Harden. And how about Maxey, man? Maxey this last month is killing it.
He puts on a 3-point clinic, man. His energy. He's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Spark. When you think they're down, you got Maxey. Just his smile, just the way he goes about his game. I love his style of play.
Yes,
I love it too. But he's a huge liability when it comes to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
They look like every time it comes back down on the other side, the other team's just looking who's Max is covering, and that's who they go to.
Yeah. Hopefully he can change that.
To get to Pat's point. You ever hear the saying? It's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. Yeah. That's the saying. That's my thought on the Sixers. You know what I mean? Like we can sit here and we can sit here and for example, I'm sure whoever's coaching the Bulls, I don't even remember who their coach is, to be honest with you. I apologize.
Is it Billy Donovan? I think it's Billy Donovan.
It is. Yeah, you're right. It is Billy Donovan. I forgot. Well, my point is that the Bulls have been such a non-factor. That I'm sure the coach is probably sitting there like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? Dude, like Mr. T said in Rocky, bro, the prediction is pain. All right.
Yeah. Same result.
Dude. Yeah, you can devise a million game plans if you want, but guess what? Joel Embiid's gonna dominate that.
I'll tell you, I don't know how anyone can have an argument for Jokic at this point of the season.
Yeah.
Any argument at all. Like he
does every night sides of the ball, like defensive, all the blocks he's getting too.
Just everything he does is everything besides pass the ball is a million times better than Jokic.
Yeah.
Everything.
Exactly.
Jokic does one thing better than Joel Embiid, and that's pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
There's a million point guards in this league. There's probably like 15 guys, 20 guys that average 10 assists a night. So what does Jokic do so special that he's the MVP?
Anybody hear George Karl's prediction on Sirius Radio?
Yeah, George Karl's a bum.
Yeah, it was on the Farsi show.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Embiid's lazy and Jokic literally looks like the laziest player I've ever seen play basketball.
No.
You know what? Just shut George Karl. Hey, George Karl, remember 2001? That's all I got.
Don't we play the Nuggets coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I was just saying,
West Coast win coming up.
Yeah, with the Phoenix, and then we got Phoenix, and then we have
Monday the Nuggets.
Golden State, and Phoenix. Yeah.
Honestly, that's such a huge game because it's huge for Embiid's MVP voting. You go to Denver, you smash Jokic in Denver. There's no more talking into that one.
Oh, just
doubt.
Just like Mutombo. No.
Yeah, when Embiid going to Denver is like the Vikings going in and pillaging the villages. You know what I mean? Like Embiid goes to Denver, he's like, this is my house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously. Why not? Hey, Dave Yarnell with a comment here. We were talking about Maxey. He said, sorry, Sully, but I still feel Maxey is a six-man. Just my opinion.
I kind of agree. They're grooving right now. Don't mess with it. If Melton's in the starting lineup,
fix it. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, no, Maxey's back in the starting lineup.
Then keep it the way it is. Then
averaging 30.
Yeah, you just got to roll with it, man. You're just playing on a different level.
He's averaging 22 points back in the lineup.
Dude, the way he shoots those threes, man, it's like butter, man.
Now, then again, I can see Doc Rivers doing something like you play the matchup. You know, if there's no guard on the other team you feel like can kill Maxey, then you start Maxey. If there's a guard on the other team you're scared to death of, you start Melton. That's the luxury of having Melton.
Get the mix matchup. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You play Boston, you can't start Maxey in that series. They are so many guards that you got to put your best defensive guards out there to start the game.
Yeah, get up early. You're right. Yeah.
Well, that is the issue that we have. You're right. That is the issue we have with Boston is that Maxey really does struggle versus them, and I think the fact that Boston is so well coached and they're such a hard matchup for us that gets in Maxey's head because if Maxey gets abused on the defensive end and he's not on the other end, say he misses a couple shots, all of a sudden he's really struggling because it gets in his head. He's like, oh crap, I'm getting cooked.
Well, you've seen the playoffs. Miami took advantage, dude. Every time down the court, they found Maxey, whether it was on Tyler. We tried to hide Maxey on Tyler Hero, and we've seen how because Tyler Hero just shoots three. He's not really a threat to go to the basket, and he torched us. You know, so that's a problem when the playoffs come time. You got to play Boston in the second round. In my opinion, I love Maxey in the starting lineup. You got to play Melton out there.
Well. You know, I would love to see us somehow get that one seed. We're 2.5 behind Milwaukee, but you know, with 11 to play, I think it's going to be hard. Now we do play Milwaukee one more time, but it's out there, and I don't know if we're going to be able to beat them 2 in a row out there. So I think our best bet is hoping for the 2 seed right now. Let's stay ahead of Boston, and if that's the case, you know, Game 7. I think us and Boston would go 7, and I'd sure as hell rather have Game 7 here than up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you know what? Honestly, I want the 2 seed. I want the 1 seed, obviously, but I'm okay with the 2 seed. I feel we can beat Boston if they have home court. I mean, not Boston, Milwaukee. I feel like the Sixers can beat Milwaukee even if Milwaukee has home court. That Boston crowd's tough, dude, especially a Sixers-Boston rivalry playoff game. I don't see us winning up there on a Game 7.
Well, Sixers go to Milwaukee Sunday, April 2nd. Then Boston comes here Tuesday, April 4th.
Wow. Well, there'll be two. That'll be 2 huge games for seeding. So let's let's do our weekly Sixers prediction here. So we got now we all were wrong last week. We said 3-1. They actually went 4-0, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we got the Bulls here, Wednesday at Chicago, Friday at Golden State, Saturday at Phoenix. And then, of course, next Monday night when we're on again, they'll be at Denver. So maybe we'll do a little preview of that game. So the next 4, it's 2 with the Bulls. So basically tonight's the last home game. It's tonight versus the Bulls, and then 3 on the road at Chicago, at Golden State, at Phoenix. What are we doing this week?
That's 3-1.
Wow. Okay.
That's 3-1. We get the Bulls twice and we beat Golden State, I think. And
Yeah.
Golden State's good at home. Golden State's good at home. But I just feel like the Sixers could pull that out.
Okay. I'm gonna say 3-1.
Or you know what? Or they beat Phoenix and lose to Golden State. They're toss-ups to me. I feel like they get one of them big games.
Took the words out of my mouth. I'll say 3-1 as well. There's Golden State, Phoenix as well.
I'm gonna go with a modest 2-2.
Modest 2-2.
All right.
That's over.
Ha. All right. So let's before we get out of here, let's get into one more thing here. So we got anybody watching the World Baseball Classic?
I actually watched a little bit of the Cuba game, and I watched the USA come back on Venezuela when they were down 7-5. They had bases loaded, and Trey Turner came up, shoved it up their ass.
Yes, he did.
Well, yeah,
That he did.
I was gonna say that's kind of what I wanted to get into because I'll be honest, I haven't watched too much of it. I mean, I did see Trey Turner's home run. I am encouraged by how our Phillies guys are playing, and I hate to see injuries. I mean, it's a damn shame. Even though it's a Mets player, it's a damn shame what happened to Edwin Diaz. I hate seeing guys get hurt. And I think Altuve got hurt too, correct?
Yeah, he broke his thumb. People are talking about people say to not play this tournament because people can get hurt, but they could get hurt cutting their grass in the morning.
At any time. You're right.
Get hurt in exhibition.
That's what I'm saying. You get hurt no matter what.
Or riding an ATV, Fultz.
Yeah.
Well, look at Brandon Nemo. They were playing the Marlins, and he came awkwardly with his leg. I think he might be out as well for the Mets.
Yeah, and finding Nemo could have got eaten by a shark. So you know what I mean? So you don't know what the hell can happen, right?
Another thing, a lot of people go, oh, it's such a meaningless tournament. Do you know how many people in this country want to play for their country?
Damn right.
It's an honor to play for your country, no matter what it's for. So is that an important tournament? I'll tell you what, it's important for them, and it's important for people who love baseball and love United States.
Since you say that, the Czech team,
Yeah.
half those guys are construction workers. They had a dentist guy, a guy who was a dentist, like everyday workers, like me and you and all of us. Just to, like you said, to play the love of the game, and then to play against Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean, give those guys prop. I mean, I don't know anything. They must have got. They must suck, right? If they're construction workers and shit. But give them props to be out there. I mean,
Did Garrett Stubbs get hurt last week?
Yeah, he had a minor injury though, nothing serious.
Yeah.
But like you said, just to be there and experience that. Like one guy struck out Ohtani or did something.
Yeah.
He signed his jersey.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. And to your point too, some of the ratings I think were even bigger than the World Series in some areas.
Yeah, it had huge ratings because it's a worldwide played tournament. Think about it, they're watching it everywhere.
Right.
Well, yeah, you had Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Mexico ended up winning Saturday night, and USA versus Cuba.
Venezuela.
And then, I mean.
Did you see that guy from Cuba who didn't return home? He's defected here now.
No.
A backup catcher for Cuba didn't return home on the flight back to Cuba. He stayed in the U.S.
Good.
Really?
Yeah. Good.
Do you blame him?
Yeah, good. I know. Good for him. I wouldn't be going back either, man.
Yeah, it sucks to live in Cuba. Can't do shit.
I know, especially he came over on a plane and got to play baseball. I mean, you know what I mean? There's people out here that go on rafts from Cuba. You know what I mean? They want to do anything they can to get the hell out of there. So I don't blame him at all.
So he's the first player to defect from the World Baseball Classic.
Did anybody
is he good enough to maybe somebody will give him an opportunity in the States?
Yeah.
Did anybody hear this small story last week? I think it was the Tigers signed one of the guys, some pitcher from. I don't know what the guy's name was or who he played for, but the guy signed him right after the game.
Oh yeah, I did see that. The White Sox, was it?
Young kid.
Tigers, I believe.
Detroit Tigers, yeah.
I don't know the kid's name.
It was a pitcher. He was throwing. He struck out Soto, Machado, and Rodriguez back to back in an inning, and then they signed him right after the game. Right after the game, got a deal.
Damn, what was his name? Roy Hobbs?
Nah, he was from a little
Natural.
he was from like a little country too. Like not a
Yeah.
huge country.
Nah, right. I don't know his
Yeah.
name, but
You know what's
reading
funny?
something about it.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Diego? Our UPS driver is a big Pirates fan. He's probably like, damn, why don't like Pirates can't get any talent? Like they should be signing dudes like that.
Yeah.
Teams with no money, if they see a dude strike out 3 good dudes, they should just be like, yo, dude, you want to come play for us? And the guy
Yeah, but you don't know if he had 10. You don't know if he had 10 teams throw money at him, and he was like, Detroit sounds like a great place. And he went to Detroit.
maybe like Little Caesars commercials.
Yeah, maybe like Eminem.
Maybe, yeah.
American
Yeah, you know
Park.
what I mean? He
He's like, I'm gonna take a walk down 8 Mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he's a Motown guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
See some historical places. I'm gonna take a walk down 8 Mile.
Yeah, he capitalized on that moment. You know what I mean? He wasn't too nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, good for him.
So yeah, all right. So when does that World Baseball Classic end? It's got to be
Tomorrow.
21st, yeah.
Tomorrow's championship.
Right now, you got Mexico, Japan, top of the first, 0-0. And like you said, tomorrow will be the final.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. All right. I guess before we get out of here, any thoughts on the NCAA tournament?
It's the first tournament in a minute. I forget exactly what year it said. No Duke, no UNC, no Kansas, and no one other team. Not in the Sweet 16 or whatever it is.
Too many brackets being busted.
Yeah.
After the first day,
Yeah.
after the second day, every bracket was busted. I think what was that school called? The school that beat Purdue.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson. Yeah, they busted every single bracket. You know that team only got in because the team that beat them in their tournament got disqualified for some reason. I didn't read why, but the team that beat them got disqualified, so they got in on like some lucky thing, and they go and beat Purdue. Purdue got to be shooting themselves in the foot right now.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Got a comment here. Pat Bernard says, make sure you guys catch Diego this weekend at the Union game this Saturday.
Yeah, guys, check me out. I'll be in the press box this Saturday again. Philadelphia versus Orlando. They're at Subaru Park up in Chester. So if you ain't doing nothing, come out and watch the game. I'm hearing the weather might not be great though, so we'll see. But I'll be down there covering the game and getting your all your Philadelphia Union news, and follow me on Twitter, Diego EOP.
Isn't there a goalie injured or was injured?
Yeah, there's a goalie. Andre Blake's out. Tim Curtin said at the press conference that it's actually a grade 1 abductor strain, which is like the best possible news you can get on anything around your groin. It's really just like a 1 week, 2 week thing. So he should be okay.
Thank God he didn't do a Lane Johnson.
So
he didn't do a lane. He didn't do a lane.
All right. So by this time next week, is anybody following enough as far as by this time next week, the Final Four will be set. Does anybody want to make a Final Four prediction?
I don't even know that much about it to even make a prediction.
Yeah, me either.
All right. All right. I was going to say, so right now I'm seeing in one thing, it's Houston versus Miami, and then it's Xavier versus Houston's the 1 seed, Miami's the 5. Then you got Xavier at 3 versus Texas. So I'm going to go chalk. I'm going to say Houston's going to get out of that, John.
See, I've been watching the tournament. I just haven't been paying attention to who's coming out of what and playing who next round. Like I've been paying attention to it. Like Xavier looked nice the other day.
Yeah, well, the only thing I've been hoping for is a 1 and a 0, Diego, our numbers.
Yeah.
One game ended 2-1. I was like, oh crap! Why did they have to score one friggin' basket?
No, we won 1 in the first round. Indiana, we won 1. It was like 75-hour block. I think Indiana had 1, and whoever they played in that round had 0. The final score was 71-60.
Oh, bet. All right. Well, holla. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, And the next John, we got Arkansas and UConn. And
UConn played good yesterday too.
All right, so I'm going to go UConn beats them, and then Gonzaga versus UCLA. Gonzaga always chokes. I'm going to go UCLA. I'm going to say UCLA is getting out of that bracket.
I'm going Gonzaga wins the whole thing.
All right. And then the other one, you got Alabama.
Gonzaga beat TCU yesterday, right?
Yeah, they moved on.
Yeah.
Then the next John, you got Alabama versus San Diego State. Well, since when did Alabama get good at basketball? That's
San Diego State's going to upset Alabama.
That's
Number one seed.
All right.
I'm going to tell you mine.
All right, San Diego State there. Then we got Creighton and Princeton. I think the run ends for Princeton there. Creighton wins. So I'm going to say, let's say San Diego State gets out of there. And then Florida Atlantic and Tennessee, Kansas State and Michigan State. I'm saying Michigan State makes it. So the final.
I'm saying Kansas State wins that, John.
All right, so I say San Diego State, Michigan State, Houston, and
I had Kentucky yesterday. That was a great game, Kentucky and Kansas.
That was it. That kid for Kansas State, man, that point guard. I think his name
They
was.
call him Mighty Mouse.
Dude, he's good.
Yeah. Dude, he's really good.
Noel.
He's good.
Yeah. I got
Kansas
State,
Okay.
UCLA, San Diego State, Creighton, Houston, Xavier.
Well, that's more than 4.
Oh, no. Oh, Final Four. I'm sorry. I'll say San Diego State, Xavier, UCLA, and Kansas State.
All right, cool. If anybody out there bets on it, it's his fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. This is not
He's
advice. This is not betting advice.
Yeah, it's just for fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just ask Glebe, and then just go against him wherever he is. Yeah, ask Glebe. So, but anyway, all right. So, all right, guys. Well, I guess any other final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope.
See you.
10 days. 10 days.
Yeah, right?
Phil's open the season in 10 days.
What's that?
So the Phils start the 2023 season in 10 days.
Let's go.
All right. So next week we should probably do a heavy baseball preview next week. Heavy baseball preview, heavy Sixers, and
good idea.
And we got tournament. So all right, guys. Well, go Sixers. Let's hope for 4-0, and let's hope the Eagles. Well, you know what? At this point, the free agent frenzies is over. Now it's just gonna be a marathon. So So let's get ready for the draft, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.